Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This man, our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, could well start a civil war. And here is why. Have you seen the polls at the moment with Nigel Farage well ahead of everyone else in the polls? And that looks bad enough for Keir Starmer and his ilk. 36% ahead of 21%, ahead of 15% for the Tories. But it gets worse than that for Keir Starmer, because there's a super poll that's just come out. And in it is from the... where's it? The wrong one. From the... I'm going all over the place now. From the Daily Mail.
Jeffnology.
Yeah, it's Jeffnology. Nigel Farage is set for the biggest Commons majority in modern political history, with the Tories reduced to just 7 MPs, according to an explosive mega poll. Now that's huge. And Reform UK is on course to win 445 seats, with Labour down to 73 MPs, and if an election was held tomorrow. Now this shows how badly we're being led, and how badly we've been led in this country for the last, 30 odd years. So that means that we're on course. If we keep going like this and those numbers go further and further down, I'm wondering what the establishment will do to stop Nigel Farage taking power. What do you reckon, Richard?
Yes, thank you, Jeff. It's 5:45 and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm afraid it's civil war that we could be looking at, thanks to Sir Keir Starmer. Now then, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what has got an impressive poll lead got to do with civil war? Well, there's a few reasons, actually. It goes to show that because this would be the largest parliamentary majority, period, in the history of parliamentary majorities, this is the daddy of them all. Now, if that takes place, you have to understand that never before have we been in this kind of situation where you've got a Prime Minister and his government who are so despised and hated, where every day the people of this country are waiting for another twist of the knife into them. Every day I speak to people who are just saying, this can't go on. And every day Keir Starmer falls down in the polls. And every day something new is brought out, like digital ID. It's like, for instance, I know he's not part of the actual government, but you've got Sadiq Khan and you've got our Home Secretary, who both somehow aren't too forthcoming in saying that from the river to the sea is chanting that is anti-Semitic. And you think, okay, well, they clearly have a very different set of values. And the people of Britain are not stupid. The people of Britain are waking up and they can see that there's an entirely different set of values being held by our establishment right now. Okay, right now in this country. They're leading us. These people are leaders. There is an open standoff taking place between the majority of the people of Britain and their own government. Now think about that for a moment. That's where we're at. That's why, yes, there was over 1 million, 2 million. Some people say 3. I'd say it was between 1 and 2 million down in London for on the 13th of September for the freedom of speech rally. Okay. Believe me, there's at least 10 other people who didn't turn up for everyone who did turn up to that rally. And the establishment is terrified of this. The establishment is utterly petrified of what is to come. You can feel it in every town and every community across this country. And the people of this country are they've very much had enough. And it's only going to take, just something, whatever that thing is, to kick this off. And we don't want to. We're trying to, people like Jeff and myself, we're trying to say, no, please stay with the political route. But more and more, the Prime Minister himself is falling in the opinion polls. He is collapsing. The best thing he could do for this country to avert a civil war is to resign, to call for a general election. It all lies in his hands. This is Keir Starmer's choice. Whatever happens in the future now, it'll be down to Keir Starmer. Jeff.
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that as well, because as Professor Betts has said, there is no political off-ramp as far as he's concerned. And it doesn't matter who is in power. They have got some very, very difficult decisions, and some would say terrifying decisions to make. What are they going to do? Which side are they going to take? The internationalist open borders or the side of the British people? And this is where we're at. This is the position they have put us in. Those who believe that we should have no borders, everyone should come here and we should pay. And the British people who say, no, we want our own society in Britain, controlled borders, proper integration to take place. There is a big conflict here. That's what's troubling me. And I don't think Keir Starmer's got the stomach for it. He will just keep kicking cans down the road and hoping that in the end we'll all forget about it in, I don't know, 1,000 years or something. No, it's really getting to a boiling point now as far as I can see. I'm just reading through the newspapers and all the rest of it. Yeah, so anyway, I did actually do a quick video on our other channel on this, where I talked about this particular poll lead. I'll just play it to you. It's only a minute or two long, just so you can see what I said on our other channel. Hello there. You know our politicians have comprehensively failed us over decades when there is a democratic backlash. For some reason, it doesn't seem to have taken. Hello there. There you go. You know our politicians have comprehensively failed us over decades when there is a democratic backlash of these epic proportions. Now, I'm not exactly a fan of Nigel Farage and his Reform UK, but I have to say that he's timed this revolutionary political movement with perfection. Reform UK has been polling consistently ahead of the others for some time, but this explosive new poll puts Reform UK light years ahead of the others. According to this poll by communications firm PLMR with electoral calculus, if an election were held today, Farage's party would have 445 seats, the biggest UK majority in history, with Labour in second place on a mere 73 seats and the Tories in sixth with only 7 seats. And we're still technically years away from a general election. Just think how far Labour could slide in that time. Talk about a pendulum swing. For it to swing back this far just shows how far to the woke side the pendulum has travelled over the last 30 or so years. But the big question is, what would Nigel Farage do with such a massive majority, especially if there was a huge general election turnout to back it up? That is, if the establishment allows him to get into number 10 in the first place. Because this will have the uniparty blob in major panic mode. So there's no telling what they'll do to maintain control. And that is exactly what worries me. What will they do? Because it is going, if he gets in with a massive majority and a large turnout, unlike this Labour government, so a massive turnout, it would give him the mandate to do what he needs. But that mandate, as long as it's laid out clearly in his election manifesto, if it is talking about the things it should talk about, it will cause a lot of conflict, I think, because, yeah. And that is the problem. We have been led here by supine, stupid, lazy politicians for the last 30 years. They put us in this position.
No, I think this is more by, I'm sorry, this appears to be more deliberate.
Okay, design.
So, yes, this is a deliberate move to undermine United Kingdom. I was watching Joe Rogan the other day, and he quite succinctly put, if he wanted to destroy Britain, he would see and he would instigate the kind of mass immigration that has taken place here, which has in many respects been, well, why do you think Reform's going so far ahead in the polls? Do you think it's because of its economic position? No, we all know the primary reason behind the increase in what's called populism. You know, populism is such a great word when you think about populism. Oh, you mean doing what is popular amongst the the electorate. Oh, okay. Yeah, I find that very, very, very odd term, to be honest with you, that's used. But anyway, regardless of that, reform itself, though, look, it's a slam dunk at the moment, and this can only get worse for Labour and worse, I believe, for the Tories. However, it could get worse, though, for Nigel Farage. But would it get worse enough to derail their majority? I mean, he's looking at not just his historic potential majority, or will it get better? Now then, personally, as you all know, Jeff and myself, we prefer Advance UK. And here's the thing, if you prefer Advance UK, if you like reform, then get involved with Advance UK, because it's shifted the Overton window. Why do you think Nigel Farage's rhetoric is changing? It's because of the Unite the Kingdom movement. It's because of people like Tommy Robinson, who he's very quick to put down, incidentally. And it's because of Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe. And every one of you probably watching this, well, most of you, a few of you will not be approving. But the point here is, if you want to see change, then you have to push with Advance. That's the only way to do this. We need, and with the Unite the Kingdom movement. And also, it cannot be taken away, incidentally, from what we'll call right-wing, centre-right social commentators. There's plenty of them out there, that has also changed the Overton window. Don't forget, our reach is far beyond that of far beyond that of the mainstream media combined. So that's what has to be recognised and remembered. No, ladies and gentlemen, we have a prime minister and a government. As far as I'm concerned, they are traitors. They are traitors to this nation. And the way that we deal with traitors now in this context is very simple. We vote them out. We find the correct political vehicle, and we get behind political parties. We do nothing else other than that. Okay, but you mentioned there'd be conflict as well, Jeff, and there is conflict. Just think about this. Think of the conflict between Farage, say, and His Majesty the King. Clearly, even as much as I'm not exactly the greatest fan of Nigel Farage, I will say this. He is further to the right than His Majesty the King. But then again, so is Karl Marx. Was Karl Marx. It's a pretty dire situation where the entire elite and structure of our society is pitted against us. The ordinary people in this country, working class people. Okay? Jeff, over to you, mate.
Yeah, just want to say thank you very much to Peter Bustin for saying great appraisal, gentlemen. We do our best.
Peter.
Thank you very much. What I will say is I just look at Keir Starmer and what he's been up to. 1 minute, it's all about Keir Starmer being pivotal in the Israel Gaza peace deal because he recognised the state of Palestine. The next thing we hear is he's distancing himself from the claim, and now we have him admitting the following on X. President Trump, this is your achievement. I thank you for your tireless efforts to deliver this moment. The UK stands ready to support a full implementation of the peace plan. I thought it was Keir Starmer's peace plan because he'd recognised Palestine. That's what we were all told, wasn't it? That was the most important part of it, And now it's going to turn out to be a bit of a thorn in his side, because the first thing that happened after the peace deal, we had Hamas parading people in front of the rest of the population and dispatching of them so as to maintain their power. And you think you're going to disarm them? Oh, dear me. This is going to be a bit of a problem. I think Trump will overcome this. I think he will. I think he'll say disarm or we're going in hard. And that'll be the end of it.
He has said that.
Yeah.
He said that yesterday, or was it the day before? He said, look, they will be disarmed. They will disarm one way or another. Effectively, either they disarm or we make them disarm. And I think he used the word violently. We will make them disarm if we have to.
Yes.
They're going to disarm. It's over. That's done. Okay. That's over. But I was watching on Twitter. I don't know if you've got it there, Jeff. Probably not. But there was a video of Keir Starmer just absolutely saying how he totally disagrees with all the peace proposals put forward by Donald Trump. And,
it was,
and I was like, And now all of a sudden he's fawning behind him. You know, oh my God, we've all seen it. We've all seen that classic bit of political theatre where Trump's there and he's calling people forward. Oh yeah, and was it the president of Pakistan gave a pretty good speech there, and then is United Kingdom here, and there's Starmer. He's like,
yeah.
He sort of rocks up to the podium only for Trump to go, yeah. Off you go, boy. Off you go. Pathetic. He's a joke. He's an embarrassment. I mean, then afterwards he was like, he was like a bulldog chewing a wasp. A bulldog chewing a wasp.
A bulldog's a big stocky thing that can be a bit scary, but
this is true.
Yeah. But Keir Starmer, you must remember, Keir Starmer is still extremely relevant, and he's made himself extremely relevant with the following. Keir Starmer, new roads, railways, airports and reservoirs are coming to Britain, and they are coming soon. That's national renewal.
Oh, yeah. That's national renewal, all right, Jeff. Yes, there's something which is renewing in this population, and that is the population in this country, and that's the population itself. We're having a complete renewal. Yes, I totally agree with him. Renewal is a thing. It's taking place. New railways. Why do we need new rails?
Yeah.
Well, because there's more people going to be travelling. Why is there more people going to be travelling on the railways? Oh, more reservoirs. More reservoirs? Why do we need more reservoirs? We're having less babies, damn it. Why do we need more reservoirs? Oh, because more water's been consumed. Why is more water being consumed? Why is there need for expansion of sewage works? Why would that be? Oh, yes, of course. Yes, Jeff. Yes. Oh, there's renewal taking place, right?
But it goes on. Jeff. But it goes on.
Oh, please.
Why is that one there and that one there? National renewal means more homes, more jobs, and more money back in working people's pockets. But to get there, we need to take on the blockers. We are cutting red tape to get Britain building.
Leave that up, Jeff. Leave that up.
Oh, sorry. Leave that one up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's just go through this. More homes. For whom? More jobs. Oh, yes. Delivery jobs, yes. On bicycle, yes. More money in working people's pockets. Hang on a second. Hang on, sir. I thought we were moving away from cash, unless you're talking about... but some people will be earning more cash. They have it more cash in their pockets. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's just a turn of phrases. It's yes, sir, Keir. Yes, and then we need to take on the blockers. The blockers. How do we stop the blockers? How do we stop it? Digital ID. Yes. Digital ID. Yes. Cutting red tape to get Britain building. For whom? We're having less children. Why are we needing more houses all of a sudden? What's going on, Sir Keir? Jeff.
Yes. Well, actually, I will now play what you're talking about. Basically, people coming into the country to do all this sort of stuff. But what we had is a former Prime Minister saying the following. And I've got to go to the downloads and just go to there. And here we go.
The problem we had with the back end of COVID, though, was that it looked as though, and we couldn't see the numbers, we were flying blind, and we couldn't see how many were coming in. All we could see...
Which is weird. The Home Office should have the numbers.
They didn't. No, they're not in real time. They don't.
No.
They're not, and so all we could see was inflation. So by the end of 2021, beginning of 22, inflation is suddenly getting into double figures. And you know what? That's a very, very bad...
Yes.
And that one, it was... I think the Treasury basically believed that was being caused by... partly by the labour market seizing up and people couldn't get a pair of hands to do the jobs that they needed done. And there had to be a fix for that. Otherwise, I assume... I'm just trying to analyse it in retrospect because this was not something that the government... set out to do, and we certainly didn't set out to have, 2 200,000 Ukrainians. We simply set out to be
You could have capped it.
as generous as we could. Now,
So, what do you make of that? All that sort of talk about immigration, didn't know the numbers and all this sort of thing under the Boris wave. You just, and that seems to have continued since. I don't see it stopping. The numbers, in fact, that seemed designed to get us used to numbers in the hundreds of thousands coming in every year, so that when they walked back from 1 million to 400,000, you think it's a win, when it's not. It's still continuing. So he was. All that was just waffle. Boris
course
it
waffle.
was.
Boris wave waffle. Yes, Boris wave waffle.
Why do they actually interview him? This is the man who told us to stay at home, not go out, okay, and not mix with people. And do you remember that? Oh, yes. Yeah. That was our social, instead of shaking hands, it was that. This is the man. And then he had parties in his house, raves, ABBA nights with karaoke. That's what, we weren't allowed to sing at funerals. We weren't allowed to, in Wales, we weren't allowed to buy bloody baby food. I mean, granted, that was under Mark Drakeford, but whatever, it was the same sort of one-upmanship going right across. Yeah, going right across the United Kingdom. And this is the man who also said you've got to get your 1, 2, 3 in your arm. And then eventually he comes out and says, oh yes, but it won't stop you getting it. And it won't stop you spreading it. Even though there'd been a bloody marketing campaign, right? Telling people, oh, if you don't take this, then you'll be responsible for the demise of your grandmother. Oh, really? And then he says, oh, but it won't stop you passing it on. Then what the effing hell is it for? Oh, it might stop you getting very, very ill, and being hospitalised. And yet they are dragging these idiots out and still interviewing them. They have no credibility left. It's like Tony Blair, right? People are still interviewing Tony Blair. He's still been given a position of power. I don't understand what is going through Trump's mind when it comes to Tony Blair. I really don't know what's going on there. And it's very concerning because there's the possibility that this man could become the Prime Minister, so the President of Gaza, an interim president. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Just all of them. Nonsense.
Yeah. But what gets me is that while Keir Starmer is talking about this wonderful new, we're going to build this, build that, do this, the press aren't laughing at him. But do you remember when Boris was talking about a new Thames Estuary airport and a bridge between Scotland and Northern Ireland? Everybody was telling him it couldn't be done, impossible, blah, 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 no money. But suddenly Keir Starmer's talking about this other stuff and, oh, that's all right. And I want to know, where's the money coming from? We've got Rachel Reeves talking about or hinting at more taxes and cuts, public sector cuts. What are they going to be cutting? I'll tell you what they'll be cutting: defence. That's what they're going to be doing. They always cut defence and then pretend they haven't and fudge the figures. But that's what they always do, and they'll do it again because they can't cut benefits. Oh no, can't cut benefits. You can't cut aid going out. You can't do this, you can't do that. Defence, who cares? No one cares. Yeah. And that's why we're importing so many people, by the way, Richard. If we're going to do all that building, we need lots of engineers and architects, bricklayers and plumbers and electricians. Of course we do.
That's luckily they're flooding across the channel, all these highly skilled individuals ready to build Britain back up and bring it in. And anybody else says who's anything different is completely and totally racist.
Absolutely, yes, I agree.
Yeah, yes. Jeff, what a joke.
As someone says, though, that Hughes Volt says reform is a step in the right direction. If there was an election today, well, yes, I think everybody would be, because at the moment, Advance UK isn't even a registered party, so they can't stand in elections at the moment. And I don't know how much longer that process will take. So I don't know. But there are movements in advance, and I'm hoping to hear in the next few days some quite heartening news. But we'll keep a lid on that for the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, so it's all a bit of a mess out there, and it really gets me because it's not just those sorts of things that are going on. There's still this two-tier sort of policing system that's going on. And as you'll know, I went to the Tommy Robinson terrorism trial, and a couple of things that came up during the trial upset everyone. Well, it upset everyone on the woke side anyway. The first thing was that he was delivering a Mercedes to Benidorm for a friend.
A Bentley.
And that came up. Oh, sorry, Bentley, not Mercedes, a Bentley to Benidorm for a friend. Now, he was legally driving that, and no one disputes that. He was not doing anything wrong. But Tommy driving an expensive car, that's the big deal. Well, I say, whoopee-doo, and it was all over the press. Then they were getting exercised about his legally having something like 13 or 14 grand in sterling and euros in the vehicle. There was no robbery. It was all above board. Donations from the rally he had just held. And because he's who he is, he couldn't bank it yet. Been trying to bank it. So he held the cash.
Yeah.
No one said he couldn't hold it. No one said he was doing anything illegal with it. Expensive car, load of money. So he must be some... But no, nothing there at all to see. And the third thing, the most important thing, was that his case was being funded by Elon Musk. And that is something that actually got a question asked in the Houses of Parliament by the Lib Dem Deputy Leader Daisy Cooper at PMQs this lunchtime. Under, I will add, the total protection of parliamentary privilege. And I'll just play that to you now. He said,
Daisy Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that Hong Kongers will require a lot more reassurance and action from this government. But it is not just the Chinese government that is a threat to our country. On Monday, the far-right, racist hate preacher Tommy Robinson, who is currently on trial for allegedly refusing to comply with counter-terror police, claimed that his legal costs are being paid by Elon Musk. It is outrageous that a man who has so much control over what people read online every day could be funding someone who stokes far-right extremism on our streets. If this was Putin, the government surely would act. So will the Prime Minister commission the security services to assess the threat that Elon Musk poses to our democracy and recommend measures to this House that we can take to stop it?
Well, I can tell her we do look across the board at threats to our democracy and must continue to do so. I won't comment on the particular case given the state of legal proceedings.
But there was zilch about the Defence KC, Alistair Williamson, forensically dismantling the prosecution case against Tommy. Because not only, in my eyes, was the case extremely weak, Mr. Williamson made the case that the police had acted well beyond their powers. Now that should have been the issue at PMQs, not virtue signalling under parliamentary privilege. Police potentially overstepping their authority should be headline news. And it was when a couple of athletes, Bianca Williams and Ricardo dos Santos, were stopped in London by two Met officers in 2020, wasn't it? But not when Tommy Robinson is involved. I wonder why, and I also wonder if Daisy Cooper would repeat those things she said at PMQs outside of Parliament. Tommy might be able to earn some money that way.
Well, yes. I mean, the far-right extremist Tommy Robinson. Do you know what I mean? You say those words, right? You say those words, okay? And you say the far-right extremist Tommy Robinson, I think. No. The far-right hate him. Okay? The far-right hate Tommy Robinson. Real racists hate Tommy Robinson. I've seen it on Twitter, on X. I've seen the comments. I've seen the absolute attempted character assassinations of Tommy Robinson by some of these real far-right nutters that are out there. And they are out there. And, I mean, Tommy's always campaigned against racism. He actually, him and a load of others actually got into fisticuffs with some real far-right nutters. And that's historically documented, yet... I mean, why are they doing this to him? These people must be... either they are willfully lying about him and trying to smear him, or they are completely brain dead, Jeff. And there's no grey area here. It's either willful lies and trying to smear a man's character, or they are completely stupid. And if they're completely stupid, you have to wonder, how did we get into this situation? But the more I see it, in general, I'm not saying specifically about this individual. I've never come across her before. And there she is, the deputy leader of the Lib Dems. Good grief. Anybody can do that job. I think I should do it. Boris Johnson could go and do it tomorrow. He started off as a Lib Dem, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Just nonsense, Jeff. It's all nonsense.
Yes. So did Winston Churchill. He was a Lib Dem for a while, or the old-fashioned version of it. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, but it does just show you, doesn't it, that the police overstepping the mark is less important to the press than Tommy Robinson being found in a car with cash. That was it. That was all we saw for the whole first day. And it wasn't until the second day when, during which time Mr. Williamson had pulled the three police officers apart like warm bread on the stand, and he was pointing out all their failures. At that point, I sort of looked at the judge. He was looking a bit, I don't know, a bit miffed. And I'm just wondering whether he was miffed because the CPS had dropped him in it. You know what I mean? His job, he has to back the police as a part of the establishment. I'm not saying anything wrong. That's, if a police officer says this is what happened, then that's what happened. But the barrister was completely pulling them apart. So you had to look at them and doubt what they were saying. And I thought, well, at the end of the day, if that had been me, I think what I would have done, and of course there's no jury, so I can't effect an outcome because the judge is the only person who will make the decision. And he won't make the decision based on anything I say, or he shouldn't. It should have just been gone. No case, But that's just my biased view, having been there. But what really surprised me was when Ezra Levant was marched out of the court. I've been to a few cases when Ezra's been there, and he's a prolific tweeter, and he's been tweeting out of court for ages. But when he turned up at the court on Monday, they wouldn't even let him into the court as a member of the press. He's been going into courts as a member of the press for years because he comes from Canada. He's a journalist over there. But the judge was making this extremely harsh point about accredited press. And on a completely different note, Tommy, who I don't think is accredited, is claiming to be a journalist as part of the trial. That's completely different from the case of Ezra Levant, though, if you get my drift. So Ezra, in the end, got all his credentials together, and he wore a medal that he'd got from somewhere, went in to see the judge with his credentials, right in front of the court, in front of us all, had his own little hearing right at the beginning of day 2. Was it? Yeah, I think it was the beginning, and was allowed to sit in the court. But within by the time the afternoon came, I'd moved upstairs to the upper room because I could hear what was going on in the upper room in the court. When you're in the back of that court, number one court, the audio does not work. And we're all sat there trying to hear what everyone's saying. So I went upstairs and I could hear everything. But while I was up there, I didn't know that that Ezra had been ejected from the court, which to me was just a smack in the teeth for free speech. And it made British justice look a bit... But, yeah, I don't want to be hauled in front of the judge, though, so I won't say anything else.
But, I mean, look, Jeff, I mean, this going back to this point, this latest deputy leader of the Lib Dems, I mean, she was saying that he's far-right and racist, and yet I'm just reading now in the Independent, that he's, we know where he is right now. He's in Israel, and he is a guest of the government there. I mean... This visit to Israel, where he is basically receiving a hero's welcome, I can assure you.
Yeah.
And you think, far right. What would the Israeli government have to do with a far right? Absolute lunacy. Let's not forget why, right? Let's just go back historically. Why are people so enraged by the far right? What is it about the far right that gets people's backs up? Well, you go back to World War II and you look at the treatment that the Jews and other minority groups received at the hands of the far right. So then why is it that Israel will be welcoming him into their country, where to every, well, not every, obviously, but to most of the Jews out there, and not just the Jews, incidentally, there are many Arabs who love Tommy Robinson as well, incidentally, in Israel. So why is he receiving this hero's welcome if he's far right? The answer is very simple. He's not far right. If you want to look at what far right looks like, take a look at our Prime Minister. Take a look at him. You think, oh, no, he's left wing. Oh, okay. Well, as I keep saying, you look at the National Social Workers, German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party. Yes, that was a socialist party. Oh, so socialist is far right then. Well, it can be, apparently, because that's what they went into the banner of, just not using nationalised wealth to achieve the same authoritarian aims and goals. This is about, but it's about absolute control. Just realise the far left and the far right are both the same thing. Absolute control. One takes one route, the other takes the other. It's the same outcome. It's the same end game. No, he's not far right. But take a look at our Home Secretary. Oh, there's some things there as well that I could say are very questionable and borderline far right. Well, how can she be far right, for goodness sake? I hear you cry. Well, do a little digging. I'm not going to say any more, Jeff. Jeff, over to you, mate.
Yeah, actually, I've just dug this out from where is it? The Jewish Chronicle, I think it was. Here we go. British anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson arrives in Israel. So that's what they're saying. And that is from Times of Israel. So, yeah, that's what they're actually calling him. And they're also saying he's the founder of the far-right nationalist English Defence League. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But also,
you need to take, Jeff, you need to take a little look. You need to take a look at the background of many of these rags out in Israel as well.
I know.
Many are funded by the far left, so I would negate that.
Yeah, I know.
Utterly.
That's what I'm trying to point out.
I wouldn't have put that up personally. I think
it's not just in this country, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, the far left is everywhere. Yeah. It's absolutely everywhere.
Yes,
I mean, a lot of these people are funded by Soros, etc., and are completely anti-Israel all the way through. And
and here's what Tommy himself has tweeted just recently. I've arrived in the beautiful nation of Israel. Thank you for the invite, Amichai Chikli. I'm honoured to be here and looking forward to meeting as many people as possible. Let me just hide that comment. A country with strong patriotic leadership in Netanyahu and his party. So, yeah, he's being received by these people, and that's a proper national invite and he's gone there as part of that. And I think the judge made the right decision. I don't think he wanted to start an international diplomatic incident by refusing him bail to go over there. But yeah.
I mean, the sheer fact, though, that they diverted, that they've pushed the actual outcome to, when is it? Next month, isn't it? November? Yeah.
November the 4th at 10 o'clock. Yes.
Yeah, I find that quite suspect, and maybe not necessarily a good thing, incidentally. What is the need? Why, if they're going to find him innocent, why are they pushing it back? Unless, again, this is all part of the process, is the punishment. That's the other side of it. But that would be then to suggest, or possibly maybe, that the judge himself is not acting without prejudice, which I'm sure that he's a very honourable man, and he won't act with prejudice, because you never get judges in the United Kingdom acting with prejudice. We have not seen that. Not for one moment have we seen that. The left and the establishment are trying to take down Tommy Robinson. And as you rightly said, Jeff, they're trying to do it globally. This is not just, this is a global situation. It is in Britain, in Israel, in America. Oh boy, is it in America. I mean, you just take a look at what they tried to do to Donald Trump, for goodness sake. They tried to shoot him. They've already taken Charlie Kirk's life. This is the left.
Yes. Now, one of the things I'm looking for at the moment is, a while ago I did see pictures of Tommy in Gaza, actually in Gaza, from a while ago, last year or maybe the year before. But I can't, because of what has happening today, Google only concentrates on now. You can never find out, did he visit Gaza back in whatever. It just says, what he's doing today. Very limiting these AI robots are when you search for stuff. But yeah. Yes, I only put that up just to show people that even in Israel, they've got the same sort of newspapers as we've got here. But the government is completely different, isn't it? The government there are not towing the globalist sort of weak line. Some of the press have a go at them.
Hang on, They can't get away with everything. To be honest with you, there are some criticisms I will make of Israel. I mean, look, during the pandemic, that in Israel you had to have multiple, and most people in that country received the arm interventions, the arm injected cough syrup, and I think there's a lot of things that aren't right globally. There's no perfect country on this planet, and we have to remember that.
No, because
there are games afoot, and this is where you ask yourself: Is the United Kingdom a country? Let's just go into this with the United Kingdom alone. Is the United Kingdom a country which is where it is through happenstance, or is it where it is through deliberate actions? Britain is, at the moment, going back to the initial point of this video, and the initial thread of this video, is heading towards something very, very dark and very, very diabolical. And when I'm afraid to say, I do believe it's a when, something terrible happens and things start breaking down, we're going to need to have real leaders and strong leaders to put this whole thing together. And here's the people that I will not include in that list. Well, everybody in the Labour Party, everybody, maybe one or two exceptions in the Tory party. Most people in Reform, I would include in that. Sorry, most of the leadership in Reform. No, sorry, I'll take that, start that again. Most of the leadership in Reform, I have no confidence in. And this I anticipate will happen before a general election, potentially. Unless there's a snap general election tomorrow, which there could very well be, by the way, to prevent this from actually the society breaking down. But if that is elongated, that entire time frame is elongated, I don't believe that there is the leadership of Reform has what it takes to do what would need to be done to unite the kingdom and bring it together. And that's when you start looking at exceptional people. Exceptional people will come forward. Ben Habib, you would see people like Ben Habib. Yes, very much so. I'm assuming working with and coming together with Rupert Lowe, with Nick Tenconi, with Tommy Robinson, and with many other fine men and women out there who this country does admire. And the sheer fact that Advance has accelerated in the polls so fast, in its membership, I should say, not in the polls, in its membership so quickly, the sheer fact that it's done that should tell you something. That these people are, the people who are linked and identified with Advance UK, are admired and are viewed by the British people as people who can create unity. That's what the British people want. They want unity. They want peace. They don't want the potential civil war that Labour seems adamant that we have. And the far left and people like that, what's his name he just played there, the deputy leader of the Lib Dems. People who will call people who are not far right. Jeff, I believe you have something else there. Speaking of the far right, something of the government. Did you upload that at all? The definitions.
Yeah, you're talking about the prevent.
Yes.
Yeah, this is sort of a bit, I don't know. This is something that was put out. Now, I actually looked at this a while ago and saw this, and it's all about terrorist ideologies. So the government is saying that there is sort of three prongs to terrorism. And they say the extreme right wing. We define extreme right-wing terrorism as the active or vocal support of ideologies that advocate discrimination or violence against minority groups. The three most common subcategories of extreme right-wing terrorist ideologies and their narratives are cultural nationalism, where it is Western culture is under threat from mass migration and a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Now, if 1 million Brits were to turn up in a place, anywhere in the world, and not integrate and not speak the lingo, which they have been charged with doing so in places like Spain, they are vilified for it, aren't they? Oh, you haven't integrated. But no one has to integrate here, do they? And that is, they're saying, this narrative is saying that the only people who can have a problem is Western culture. That's what they're saying. Western culture. Only Western culture can have that problem. That's it. No one else has that problem. No one else can have that problem. You don't say cultural nationalism is culture is under threat from mass migration and a lack of integration by anyone else. No, it's only Western culture, i.e. our culture, that can be attacked properly, can just be attacked. And if you argue about it, then you're a racist and a far right thug and all the rest of it. That's what they're actually saying. And then they're saying it leads on to white ethno-nationalism and then white supremacism. Look at white supremacism. It says here that white supremacism is the white race is biologically, culturally and spiritually superior to all other races. Well, I don't know anyone who actually says that. An alternative form of government ranging from fascist regimes to ethno-tribalism should replace Western parliamentary democracy. Now, I haven't heard anybody wanting that sort of thing. But when they're talking about the white, this is the mix-up. This is where they muck around with you. The white race is biologically, culturally and spiritually superior. Now, would someone coming here after being hounded in their country, coming here as an asylum seeker, would they say that where they came from had a superior culture to us, or whether we had a superior culture to where they came from? Why are they here? That's the question.
Yeah, I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to conflate some things here. What they're trying to do is they're trying to conflate the fact that, yes, the British culture and Western culture historically, I believe, was far superior than many other countries. And that's what most people probably do believe in, which is, as you rightly said, why people have come here. Skin colour has nothing to do with it, incidentally. We're not talking. That's what they're trying to, but they're trying to latch on top of that an ethnic group, right? That's the dangerous bit. And that, incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, is racist. But let's go back to this this thing here, the cultural nationalism. Western culture is under threat from mass migration, lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Well, okay, now I'm afraid to say a lot of people in this country believe that terribly racist, far-right thing. In fact, you'll probably find the majority of those people who are voting for reform will actually believe that as well. The racists! How dare they? Absolutely. I mean, Western... But the thing is, though, Jeff, this is not about ethnic... Right, again, they're doing it ethnic and cultural groups. No, this is about culture. This is about culture, okay? There are culture... As we have seen so many times recently, there are cultural groups which do assimilate. Not everything just melts together and merges together cohesively. There are those who actively don't want to merge and become a part of the United Kingdom. And they say that they don't as well. They'll tell you that they don't. Isn't it about time we started listening to what they say and believe what they're actually saying? But to say that, though, apparently, according to this definition, will be extreme right-wing. I mean, again, these definitions, they're just plucked out of the air. I don't care what that means. That's a load of rubbish, that is. That's, well, most people, I think, in the country then are now extreme right-wing. Just as, like, we were told by Keir Starmer that everybody in Britain, that Farage and everyone was far right, and that the riots after Southport were the results of the far right, all proven to be a load of absolute BS in the end, as we knew. Yeah. But this is just terminology, weaponized terminology being thrown around. Yeah. We know for so long people have been using the term racist. And the thing is, the people who are racist are those people in power at the moment. It is the Labour government who are racist. They have allowed racism on the streets every week, being shouted and screamed right across this country, where people are shouting from the river to the sea. And how, as I said, when you've got the Home Secretary and you have the Mayor of London, both Labour, some of the highest positions of power in the land, two of them anyway, 2 out of 3. And there they are, saying that From the River to the Sea is open to interpretation effectively. Shut up and go away. Shut up. Absolutely pathetic. Makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, and when you talk about Western culture, you know, we used to have a Western culture of, I don't know, trying to properly stamp out corruption, and properly holding elections, and properly having proper unbiased teachers, unbiased, not a two-tier justice system and things like that. That's what we were sort of used to. That all seems to have changed. And I'm trying to work out what has changed it, but it has not changed for the better as far as I'm concerned. And we used to have a culture of Christianity. That seems to be thrown out now as well. And they seem to be actively trying to replace that with another religion. I don't know why, but that's what they seem to be doing. And they seem to be replacing what we took as culture all those years ago to something completely different. So our culture is under threat, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it legitimate to ask the question whether allowing loads and loads of people in and not requiring them to integrate properly, you know, into our society, is that changing our culture that we grew up with and that we want to retain? Is it legitimate to want to retain a culture? I think it is. I find that offensive. I find that whole definition offensive.
Yes, it is offensive. Well said, Jeff, actually. Very well said, mate. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yep, 100%. It is nothing but discriminatory, incidentally. That's what it is. It's a discriminatory labelling of the masses. And I think it's pathetic. Sorry. Grenville Kemba says, do Windsor Davis, Richard. Right there now then, lovely boy. How sad? Never mind. There you go. Yes. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, so enough on that. The government, if that's the sort of training they're forcing down all their employees. I looked at the list of the people that would have to take this out. Loads of them. Millions of people have had to. That's just one page of it, by the way. It's just one page. And that was brought to my attention by Lawrence Fox on his Twitter profile. Or his X profile. So I thought, oh yes, I remember that. I had a go at it before, but it just makes my blood boil that people can write this stuff with the intention of trying to gaslight you into a certain position without explaining. They haven't even, I bet you, I never saw a definition of Western culture in there. If they can't define it, then how can they put it up as an argument at all? But there you go.
Yes, I totally agree.
Gunnar Graham. I remember Gunnar Graham.
Gunnar Graham. Yes. I vaguely remember it.
Yes.
I was a bit younger there.
Yes.
Right, well,
now, let's have a look at a bit more two-tier stuff. During the recent marches, the pro-Palestine marches that took place, just as a peace deal was being brokered, but it all continued in the old vein of from the river to the sea, etc., didn't it? But it was a non-Jewish Brit who got arrested for holding a sign in support of Jews in the UK and debating with some of the opposition. Now, I'll just show you this first one here.
What about We're still bombing now. We're not talking about peace.
They pulled out Gaza in 2005. No. I believe in 1947, everybody in the world was moving around after the war. India, Pakistan, Korea, everybody was moving. You call it a number. Two different things, or Section 14 isn't something I've heard of. But I'm not sure how We Stand With Britain's Jews breaches the Terrorism Act, but we'll see. Maybe it's the Union Jack that we've got on there. Who knows these days? I mean, this is seriously is a joke. Come on.
Mark, that's the information I've been given. We'll get to custody.
Yeah.
We'll get you processed and someone will be able to explain to you.
Oh, wow. I'm really grateful. This isn't like a train running late, right? You're about to lock me up for hours, yeah? For nothing. You're not telling me that my train is late, so don't say, and then somebody will be able to explain it to you.
Mark, I understand.
And also, you said earlier you're going to wait until the march has passed before you get a van. So we're going to stand here for nearly 2 hours. You're just wasting my time for standing there with a placard that said, "We stand with Britain's Jews." Right? That's seriously what you've done.
I'm not saying
seriously what you're all doing, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you've been seen with a sign.
No, you're saying that I was breaching the peace. Forget the sign. Even before that, you said I was breaching the peace for standing with a sign that says "We stand with Britain's Jews," with in the middle a Manchester B, signifying the murder of 2 people in a synagogue this week. And you're saying I'm breaching the peace and potentially a terrorist. It's a joke. It's a joke. Isn't it? Only following orders, I know.
Yeah, I'll leave the rest to your imagination. It's just continuation. The guy was arrested. I also met someone at the trial yesterday. I think we were having a little chat, and that particular person was one of those on the bridge, if you remember, that dangled the sign over the side. And they were almost attacked by the pro-Palestine mob, but the police intervened and arrested them. It's always the same way. You've got to remember, where the police are concerned, their job is to keep the peace. Their job is to stop violence, damage to people and damage to property. And they will always take the easy way out. They will remove the people, the minority group, even if they are perfectly law-abiding and are not threatening anyone. They will remove them and arrest them rather than take on the mob who are violent and nasty. And that happens every time. It's the easiest way. You placate the mob, you appease the mob, and then and the mob just gets stronger every single time. They just get stronger. Oh, we do this, the police get rid of them. Just do it a bit more and they'll get rid of the next lot. And that's always happening. And we need to change, because this is on their warrant card. This is what it says on their individual warrant card. We need a change here so that they uphold people who are going about their lawful business. Do you remember that Jewish gentleman ages ago, right at the beginning of all this, who was told he couldn't cross the road? He couldn't lawfully cross the road because people who hated him and might attack him were the ones that were using the road. You know,
what
you see
wasn't
where
the
I'm going with
terminology used? That he was, I may be wrong here, but if I am, I'm paraphrasing. That he was potential of being arrested, I think it was, for being openly Jewish.
Correct.
Or obviously openly Jewish. I thought, what? I mean, this gentleman here, I'm not sure if he is Jewish or if he's not the one who is protesting. He says that we stand with British Jews, but I'm not sure if he is Jewish himself or not. But the sheer fact that, as he stated, we had a dreadful terrorist attack by a psychotic Islamist in Manchester. Okay, that took place. Okay. The British Jews in this country are terrified. They are trying now. They're looking at ways to leave because of this. And then when somebody shows their support by holding up a sign, whilst you can hear in the distance people are shouting, possibly, or you can hear the kind of chants and that are going on there, again, from the river to the sea. That's fine, according to the establishment in this country. Nothing is done about it. This is taking place in Keir Starmer's Britain, in Keir Starmer's racist Britain, that he allows and the Home Secretary allows. It is racism that you allow to fester. She has just come out now, I believe, Jeff, to say that we have lost control of our borders. What do you mean lost control? We haven't had control of our borders for bloody years. For absolute years. And people like them were actually saying, and Starmer was saying we had to put forward a case for open borders. You know, that's what he, again, I'm paraphrasing. That's what he was saying. These people want open borders. They're encouraging it.
Richard, borders, our borders are under control, but under the control of the wrong, rotten people. That's the whole problem. They are under control. They are being controlled. The whole input of people is being controlled from Africa, across the Mediterranean, through the European Union, onto the beaches and across the ocean, into our country and into a hotel or a house. It's controlled by the wrong people. That's the problem.
Hang on, but didn't our beloved monarch, King Charles himself, say that there is no border between France and Britain now?
Yep, that's what he meant.
Okay. All right, then.
Yes. And Michael Bronson McLean, is it Michael? Yeah, Michael Bronson McLean asks a very academic question. If I am Islamophobic, surely I am the victim of whatever causes my fear. In this case, it would be Islam. That's a good question. Is that a question that should be talked about? But of course, it's one of those questions that no one can talk about.
No, it can be talked about because I'd actually say, no, I'm afraid, it isn't Islam. This is, I'm afraid, your indoctrination by the far right. Yes, that's what's done this. It wouldn't be anything else at all. No. Sorry, it's definitely some sort of indoctrination by the nasty and evil far right people like that dastardly Tommy Robinson, or even that awful Jeff Taylor character, and his evil sidekick, who is clearly far right. Yes.
Someone I talked to a few weeks ago said they'd brought my name up with some real hard woke types and said, well, if you watch Jeff Taylor, you might see a bit of balance. And they said, what, you mean that total image of Satanism or something, the harbinger of doom and all the rest of it. I thought, well, okay, they've got me taped then, haven't they? But there you go.
And that's you on a good day, Jeff. That's you on a good day.
That's me on a good day, yeah.
That's in an optimistic mood, that is.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kieran. Well said, Jeff. Yeah, so, yeah, Jeff.
Jeff's the man.
It's, apart from my Jeff-nology with technology, I tell you what this was. When I planned everything. I got all the pictures and all the videos in order. Then Richard came on and said, I tell you what, let's do it the other way round. I said, what do you mean? He said, let's go in at the back. We'll start at the bottom and work up. So there was me pressing all the wrong buttons. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, it's never happened before, has it, Jeff? Never happened before. No. First time of.
Anyway, but we forgot to mention something, didn't we, Richard? About what happens when we finished here. Didn't you, Richard? Richard, over to you.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, when we finish here, we are going to be doing another live stream later on. But it actually won't be too short. It'll be within 5 minutes or 10 minutes probably after we finish this live stream. We're doing another live stream. It's for the members only, but come in and be a member. You can press. You can do it on your phone now, on your iOS, on your iPhones, and you can press join. There's a join button, not just a subscribe button. There's a join button. Press it, and for the price of a pint of beer in a London pub, you get extra content, like, hopefully, if we can get it to work, a live stream that we're going to do just for, it's not going to be for that many people, because, we've only got a small amount of members, and I don't know if any of you, it'll probably just be Jeff and myself there, but you're more than welcome to join us, and if you become channel members, so come on, become channel members for when this has actually, yes. There we go, when it's finished. Sorry, over to you, Jeff.
And thank you to AFenna7. Thank you very much. Sometimes I want them to pull their agenda, and if we rebel, sure, we lose everything, but then we have nothing to lose, and that would be bad on them. Yeah, this is the whole problem. If they did do something, that people who have got something and rely a bit on the state for support are controllable, malleable. But if they go too far and remove everything off of us, which is looking like the way they're edging towards, in fact, they're taking it off of us to give to other people, then people will get upset. They will. And the trouble is they promise so much to so many people, and a lot of people now get promised basically a lot of things because they're just here, not actually, and I'm not talking foreigners, I'm talking about anybody who just sits around picking up dosh at the expense of the rest of us. Yeah. There's too many around at the moment, and they are becoming a bigger voter base. So they vote, so people say, I'll give you a bit more money if you give me a vote. I mean, you see where it goes. You see how self-destructive this whole system is. Yeah.
Somebody sort of put a comment here like, members only, and things like, and we do have people who become channel members, and we would like to give, it's only fair that we give something back to them. So, we're trying to keep this thing going. It's very difficult. In case you had noticed, Jeff has been doing a lot of traveling recently, and that is not cheap, No. He's not in his 20s anymore, and, Jeff, at the end of the day, we're not young men anymore, and, it just helps pay for stuff and just keeps us going and doing what we're doing. So that's why we do it. There we go.
Yeah. Robot Man has just summed up what I said. Accelerationists, we have just enough to lose, but not enough to celebrate. Yeah, that's sort of where we're at. Yes. There you go. Yeah. So I think we've shown everybody everything, haven't we? Yes.
Absolutely.
But the really big thing is that Starmer, I just think the government is going totally in the wrong direction. It's totally, they think they've got a Chinese setup where they can just dictate to the rest of us and we'll do as we're told. They don't realise that actually we're independently minded. They haven't yet put their control grid in place, not yet. Oh, and of course, coming up on Saturday, forgot this bit. On Saturday is the anti-ID card. Let's see if I can find the image file. Anti-ID card I did have it here. It's gone somewhere. No, I haven't got it. The anti-ID card
Rally.
protest in Marble Arch, around Marble Arch, right next to the train station, this Saturday, the 18th of October at 1 p.m. And I've already talked to a few people. I've chatted with Andrew Bridgen already. He's going to be there. So there's a lot of people going to be there. So I think there'll be people from Advance UK there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I shall be going up there for the day to have a look around. More travel expenses. But there you go.
Well, it is.
So it is.
Right.
It's really important that people get involved in this anti-digital ID push.
Oh, totally. Well, we know where this is going. Right, well, yeah. Jeff, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video. Please press the like button, even at this later stage. Press the like button, press the subscribe button, click the all option, and then you get notified each time we put a new video. But that's if you've got your notifications on. Check you've got your notifications on in your settings under notifications for when we put up new videos. Oh, by the way, Billy, thank you, Billy. Just it's for Jeff.
Yeah,
thanks
just
again,
seen
Jeff.
that one. Yeah,
Jeff Taylor is the man indeed. So yes, please press like. And if you really like what we're doing and you want to continuously help support us, then become a channel member. We're going to try and start getting more stuff out, just little post-show live stream and things like that. So there we go. Over to you, Jeff.
Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Don't get too disheartened. It's all in our hands now. And what we've got to do is support the right people and hope and push forward with it. Help them. And if you can, why not stand for Advance UK once it becomes a party? Why not help someone who stands locally, even if it's a councillor or something like that? Just give them a bit of help. Everything works. Everything helps. So there you go.
Yeah.
And on that note, I shall say it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him, Mr. Jeff Taylor. Goodbye. See you over that live stream now, members.